30 years of business knowledge? What if I told you that everything they taught you about success is wrong? That working harder doesn't guarantee wealth, that having a degree doesn't mean you'll live with freedom, and that building a business isn't about starting with money, it's about starting with a fire inside you. For 30 years, people have traded time for security, accepted mediocrity as safety, and waited for permission to chase their dreams. And in that time, they've missed something far more valuable than strategy. They've missed clarity. Clarity about purpose, about ownership, about what it truly takes to build something that lasts longer than applause. This isn't a tutorial. This is a mind shift. A full download of hard-earned wisdom distilled from failures, wins, breakdowns, breakthroughs, and decades of pattern recognition. You'll hear what no textbook dares to teach, the raw truth behind how real entrepreneurs think, build, and rise. No fluff. No cliches. Just principles that compound, if you're bold enough to live them. If you're tired of watching others live the life you want, if something inside you says, there has to be more than this, then welcome. You're exactly where you need to be. Mindset and purpose. He grew up believing that following rules, getting good grades, and earning a degree would guarantee freedom. But the truth? The system was never designed for that. School, with its rows of desks and rigid schedules, trains minds to obey, not to lead. It teaches you to ask for permission, not to create your own path. And that's why so many intelligent, well-meaning adults feel stuck in lives they didn't truly choose. The key to escaping this invisible cage isn't found in titles or diplomas, it lies in reprogramming your mindset. Today's world rewards those who look beyond classroom walls and discover the power of purpose. Real purpose. Not fantasy, but that fire inside you that refuses to go out, that itch to build something bigger than yourself. As Steve Jobs once said, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Once you find your purpose, it pulls you forward like a locomotive. It gives meaning to failure, to the sleepless nights, to all the uncertainty. And here's the twist, your purpose might already be right there in front of you, in the things you do without even thinking. Maybe it's helping others, solving complex problems, teaching, building, creating. That's what separates businesses that fade fast from those that leave a legacy. But here's the real question, what if it doesn't start with an idea, but with a powerful feeling rising inside you? Underscore 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 underscore. How to start a business from scratch, with no money. The biggest mistake aspiring entrepreneurs make is waiting for that one brilliant idea, as if it'll strike like a lightning bolt of genius. But the truth no one wants to admit? The most powerful businesses weren't born from ideas, they were born from frustration. From a desire to change. From a refusal to settle. Not from money. From passion, obsession, and skill sharpened in silence, long before anyone noticed. Starting from scratch is easier than you think, but it takes the guts to let go of perfection. Obsessing over the perfect idea will paralyze you. The secret is to start small, start scrappy, but start now. That might look like a raw podcast episode, a simple Instagram post, a one-page landing page, or even a free Google Doc solving someone's problem. Don't wait for ideal conditions, take action with what's in your hands. That's where real entrepreneurship lives. You don't need to be first, you just need to do it better. With more heart. More clarity. More intention. Uber didn't invent taxis. Netflix didn't invent TV. Apple didn't invent the phone. They just delivered better, with design, purpose, and experience. That's what sets great apart from average. But no empire is built alone, right? How to find a co-founder. No one builds an empire alone, and that's not just a cliche. In the real world, even the most brilliant visionary needs someone who sees what they can't. A co-founder isn't just a business partner, there's someone who shares your intention, respects your moral code, and fills in the gaps with their unique skills. Maybe you're a strategic genius but hate numbers, then you need someone who breathes spreadsheets. And finding that person starts with one powerful question: what do I love doing, and what do I hate? When you find someone who not only believes in your purpose, but is equally obsessed with execution, things shift. The pace quickens, your energy multiplies, and the business takes on a life of its own. The greatest stories in entrepreneurship are built on powerful partnerships: Jobs and Wozniak, Gates and Allen, Page and Brin. But none of that happens without intention. It's not about randomly inviting a friend to launch an idea, it's about strategically searching for someone who fits your long-term vision like a missing puzzle piece. Be specific, write down exactly who you're looking for. Make a post, join communities, spark real conversations. Define the values, the role, the mission. Think of it as a co-founder pitch, just as important as a pitch to an investor. And don't get attached to owning 100%. Having 50% of something extraordinary, built with heart, grit, and a hunger for impact, is far more valuable than controlling 100% of an idea that never leaves the ground. And once you find that person, it's time to map out the vision. Ready to draw your mind map? Lightbulb Topic 4: Mind Map of a Business. Forget everything you learned about traditional business plans. The spreadsheets, the 10-year projections, the rigid charts, that's old thinking. What you need is a mind map, a living, breathing visual that starts with your passion at the center and radiates outward like the branches of a tree. This isn't just planning, it's creating clarity from chaos. Put your heart at the core, then map out your products, services, revenue streams, team, resources, and most importantly, your why. Let's say your passion is helping people gain financial independence. From that, you might map out a course, a podcast, a mentorship program, and a mobile app. Each branch becomes a potential channel of acquisition. And from there, ask, what kind of co-founders or team would you need? What kind of branding reflects your essence? Which marketing systems could create leverage? This isn't a one-time activity, it's an evolving framework that grows as you do. It gives your business direction while leaving room for creativity and freedom of creation. A mind map is also the ultimate tool to combat overwhelm. You don't need to do everything at once. You need clarity on what comes first. Start with your minimum lovable product, something that solves a real problem, that you'd be proud to launch even if only 10 people saw it. And trust me, that clarity will act like a magnet, attracting people, investors, and opportunities. But to stay magnetized, you need to tap into something even deeper. And that brings us back to a question that never loses power: what problem in the world are you here to solve? How to find your purpose. Purpose isn't found in a Google search or a motivational quote on your feed. It's uncovered in silence, in reflection, in those uncomfortable moments when you realize you're meant for more. The real question isn't what do I want to do? It's what problem am I here to solve? That question shakes your foundation. It moves you beyond money, beyond ego, beyond comfort. And often, your purpose isn't miles away, it's just 3% off from the life you're living right now. Start by looking at your pain, your frustrations, the things you complain about daily. That's gold. Because what bothers you deeply is often what you were born to fix. Maybe you're tired of bad education systems, soulless workplaces, or health misinformation. Maybe you've survived something, learned something, seen something others haven't. That's where impact begins. That's where your entrepreneurial journey transforms into something with soul, something that breathes life into your work when motivation fades. And here's the key: find projects where you can have equity, not just a salary. Ownership breeds responsibility. When your name is on it, your heart is in it. Whether you're building a product, a community, or a brand, let your purpose drive the positioning, the storytelling, and the legacy you're creating. Because when purpose is clear, everything else becomes easier: the marketing, the pitch, the resilience in hard times. But make no mistake, the road won't be smooth. And you're going to hit walls. So the next question is, are you ready to fail forward? How to deal with failure. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's the toll you pay on the road that leads there. And the truth? Most people don't make it, not because they lack talent, but because they lack the mindset to embrace failure as part of the process. If you're afraid to look foolish, to be subestimated, or to lose face, you'll never move fast enough to win. The ones who rise are those who fall, get up, and still dare to believe in their purpose, louder than ever. Let go of the fear of looking bad. Let go of the obsession with image, the need for approval, the fantasy of perfection. Every successful entrepreneur you admire has failed more times than they've succeeded. They just failed louder, faster, and in public. Think of it like training in the gym. If you're not willing to tear the muscle, you'll never build strength. Business is the same. Resilience isn't about staying untouched, it's about staying unbreakable, even when bent. And here's a secret most don't talk about: being underestimated is one of the greatest advantages you can have. When no one sees you coming, you have freedom. You can build in silence, sharpen your product, refine your process of selling, strengthen your team, without the weight of expectations. Embrace that. Use your invisibility as a weapon. Because once you rise, they won't know what hit them. And when that time comes, you'll need to be ready to not just build, but to sell what you've built with purpose and power. How to sell? Selling isn't manipulation, it's the art of transferring belief. And belief begins with you. If you don't believe in what you're offering, why should anyone else? Sales isn't about slick words or closing tricks, it's about showing people the impact of what you've built, why it matters, and how it can change their life. You're not just selling a product, you're selling purpose, freedom, and a future that looks different from the one they're stuck in today. The best salespeople don't push, they guide. There's a process to selling that works like a natural conversation. First, does the person actually need what you offer? Second, is there mutual trust and alignment? And third, if the first two are clear, the sale happens organically. It's not about pressure, it's about connection. You're not convincing someone to buy. You're inviting them into a story where they become the hero and your offer is the tool. The key is to play the long game. Some of your best clients or investors won't say yes today, maybe not even this year. But if your storytelling is consistent, if your brand is authentic, if you show up with clarity, value, and genuine energy, they'll remember. And when the timing is right, they'll come knocking. Now, to make sure they even notice you exist, you need to master one thing that wraps around all of this like gravity itself: marketing. Marketing. Marketing isn't about shouting louder, it's about being remembered longer. It's not just ads, logos, or posts. It's how people feel when they hear your name. It's the story they tell themselves about your brand when you're not in the room. At its core, marketing is connection. It's how you take your purpose, your passion, and your product, and translate it into something people want to talk about, share, and be part of. And here's the beauty: you don't need a massive budget. You need creativity, intention, and a message that cuts through the noise. There's a legendary story of an entrepreneur who spent thousands on a golden ladder just to place it on the side of a building and get free media coverage. That wasn't wasteful, it was genius branding. Sometimes the boldest, strangest move becomes your most powerful PR. But this only works when it ties back to something authentic. One clear message, one unforgettable angle, that's how you build influence. Don't try to be everywhere. Try to be unforgettable in one place first. Maybe that's YouTube, Instagram, email, or even a podcast. Pick your channel of acquisition, master it, and build trust there. Remember, marketing is not about virality, it's about relevance over time. When done right, it becomes your silent sales machine. But if your message isn't hitting, maybe the issue isn't your ad, it's your narrative. And to fix that, you'll need to dive into the art of shaping powerful public perception. Public relations. Public relations isn't just for celebrities or billion-dollar startups, it's for anyone serious about building credibility, trust, and influence. Think of PR as your public mirror. It's how the world sees you before they ever meet you. It's the way your story enters rooms you've never stepped into. And if you don't shape that story, someone else will, and they may not tell it in your favor. So, you need to own your narrative, intentionally and consistently. A strong PR strategy can override bad numbers, shaky launches, even failed products, because people don't buy facts, they buy beliefs. Crafting a clear, emotionally resonant message about your mission, your purpose, and your impact creates magnetic power. And don't wait for media outlets to come to you. Start small: podcasts, blogs, LinkedIn, local press. Share your wins. Share your setbacks. Share your vulnerability. People relate to authenticity, not perfection. Here's one of the most powerful moves: tell your hard stories before someone else does. Anticipate the struggle, the failure, the pivot, and narrate it with clarity and confidence. You disarm critics and build loyal audiences by being real. The media doesn't want polished, they want compelling. And when you can harness PR as part of your overall marketing system, the spotlight won't just find you, it'll follow you. But as that light gets brighter, another kind of attention will find you, the kind that carries checks and expectations: investors. Investors. Raising money is not the goal, building something worth funding is. Too many founders rush to pitch decks and coffee meetings, thinking capital will solve what clarity and execution haven't. But the best investors aren't looking for magic ideas, they're looking for resilient people, solving real problems, with a plan that can scale. They want to see validation, not dreams. So before you ask for money, ask yourself, would you invest in your own business today? Not all money is good money. Every investor comes with expectations, pressure, and sometimes, misaligned visions. You have to know your stage. In the early days, an angel investor might be your ally, someone who believes in you, not just your numbers. Later, you'll deal with VCs who want growth, metrics, and scalability. So tailor your pitch: why now? Why this? Why you? And back it with a crystal clear roadmap, not a fantasy, but a feasible, strategic execution plan that shows you know the game. Use capital as fuel, not a crutch. Know exactly how you'll use it, whether it's for product development, hiring key talent, or acquiring customers through tested channels. Investors want to see you've done the work, that your branding, positioning, and marketing aren't just theories, they're systems in motion. And if your message is clear, if your storytelling is strong, if your numbers are grounded in truth, they'll lean in. But even if they say no, you still have one undeniable asset that can never be taken from you: your personal brand. Personal brand. Your personal brand is the reputation that works for you when you're not in the room. It's not about being famous, it's about being trusted, respected, and remembered. In a world flooded with noise, your face, your voice, and your message can cut through if you're bold enough to show up. You don't need to be an expert to start, you just need to be real, consistent, and share your journey. People don't connect with perfection, they connect with progress. Document everything. Share what you're learning, what you're building, what you're struggling with. That's how you build influence without begging for attention. When someone sees your face enough times, hears your voice enough times, sees your values reflected in your content, they start to trust you. And when people trust you, they buy from you. They refer you. They partner with you. Whether you're closing a sale, pitching an investor, or building a community, your personal brand is the credibility that precedes you. Think of it like this: your business might pivot, but you are the constant. A strong personal brand becomes an asset across every project you touch. But here's the part no one tells you: the more you grow, the louder the voice inside gets, whispering that maybe you're not enough, not ready, not worthy. That voice has a name, and it's something every high performer must face. Let's talk about the invisible enemy that lives in all of us: the impostor syndrome. Impostor syndrome. You can have the results, the recognition, the revenue, and still feel like a fraud. That's impostor syndrome, and it sneaks in right when you're about to level up. It whispers that you're not qualified, not smart enough, not really who they think you are. But here's the truth no one tells you: feeling like an imposter doesn't mean you're broken, it means you're growing. It's the tension between who you were and who you're becoming. The most successful people you admire, they've all felt it. The difference is they didn't let it stop them. Instead of hiding, they led with vulnerability. They showed up anyway. they kept delivering value, even when they doubted themselves. When you own your imperfection, when you're honest about what you don't know, while confidently sharing what you do, you build trust. Not just from others, but from within. Confidence is not the absence of doubt, it's the decision to act in spite of it. So how do you quiet that inner critic? Through action. Publish the post. Make the call. Launch the minimum lovable product. Get feedback, improve, repeat. That's how resilience is built. You don't overcome impostor syndrome with affirmations, you overcome it with execution. And when that action creates something tangible, something useful, something real, you shift the story in your mind. Because now, you're not just talking about building, you're actually building. And speaking of building, let's talk about the thing that brings your ideas to life, the product itself. Building a product. Building a product isn't about creating something perfect, it's about creating something that people actually care about. Forget the polished features and shiny dashboards for a moment. What you need is a minimum lovable product, not just viable, but something people can use and feel excited about, even in its simplest form. That's where the magic starts. Simplicity plus impact beats complexity every time. Start small, but solve a real problem. Whether it's a no-code app, a simple Notion template, or a one-page coaching service, what matters is that it works and makes someone's life better. Get it out there fast. Ask for feedback, not applause. Learn what people love, what confuses them, and what they'd pay for. That loop, build, ship, listen, improve, is how products become movements. You don't need perfection. You need progress that people can feel. And don't build in isolation. Involve your audience early. Use your community, your personal brand, your channels to co-create with them. When they feel ownership, they become your first users, your evangelists, your PR team. The best products weren't made in labs, they were made in conversations. But even the best ideas can't survive if your energy burns out before they grow. So before we scale, we need to talk about something deeper, how to protect your energy and avoid burnout. Final philosophy. Entrepreneurship is not just about money, freedom, or legacy, it's a deeply personal act of creation. It's saying to the world, I won't just live in your systems. I'll build my own. It's about liberation, courage, and the mindset to take full responsibility for your life. No permission needed. No waiting for signs. Just you, your intention, your clarity, and the belief that you can shape reality into something better than what you inherited. This isn't a path for the faint-hearted. It will stretch you, break you, force you to shed every excuse and face your reflection. But it will also awaken your creativity, your resilience, your deepest purpose. Because when you choose to build, to solve, to serve, you become a force that can no longer be ignored. And the best part? You don't need to get it perfect. You just need to start. With passion, with execution, with obsession for leaving the world better than you found it. There is no blueprint. No step-by-step formula. There's only the one you design, guided by your values, fueled by your vision, and executed with relentless consistency. Whether you're just beginning or you're decades in, the game is always the same. Think clearly, act boldly, and never stop building. Because the future doesn't belong to those who wait. It belongs to those who create. So, what will you create next? Now that you're holding 30 years of condensed wisdom, what are you going to do with it? Will this be just another video in your playlist, or will it become the spark that ignites your next move? Because what separates those who win from those who just watch isn't talent, luck, or money. It's execution with purpose. Everything you need to start is already inside you, not tomorrow, but right now. So tell me. Backhand index pointing right, what part of this video hit you the hardest? Backhand index pointing right, what insight will you turn into a plan? Backhand index pointing right, what will you take action on today? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear from you, connect with you, grow with your journey. And if you want to keep learning, evolving, and building with intention, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and join me on this path. Because this is just the beginning.